it's Shona at SMP Crafts, and I'm here to explain how I did the white and black poison tumbler. Um, Number one, this is in double speed just because it would take forever to get through this. And I stitched a bunch of my videos together because there was a lot of cure time in between. Anyways, number one, I have a 30-ounce tumbler that I sanded. It's a stainless steel. I sanded it and painted it white with white acrylic paint, and I did 2 layers. And then here I ended up mixing a white pearl with a blue hue to it, mica powder in my resin. And this resin has extra UV protection in it just because it's white. I want to make sure it doesn't end up having a yellow tint to it. So every layer here stays, or I use the higher UV. And I am just thinning it around as the tumbler's spinning. It will even out with the rotation. You will also see I put it at the bottom just to coat the bottom a little bit. In between my mica or my resin layers, I usually use a heat gun, not too close, but enough to get some warmth, and it pulls the bubbles. Now you see me adding black glitter. It's a chunky glitter with some fine black glitter in it. And what I do is I just take a pinch and just kind of sprinkle it over the cup a little bit. And I'll keep doing it as it spins around until it's pretty good and coated. I also, in this case, on this tumbler, I do not mind that I get glitter in the parts that aren't meant to have a lot of glitter. I do that on this cup just because I think when I add the drip, it just kind of adds an extra little touch to it, like, oh, a little bit dropped here or whatever. And you see me just sprinkling it over. And I try to fill in like the spots as it's spinning. And you will see, once I end up getting this done, and you'll see the label on there, and the edges are kind of a little bit torn off, and I did that just more for to look kind of worn, because I want this to look like a bottle. And I'm still sprinkling the glitter. But you'll see me clear coat. And once again, I'm using the higher UV protection in this one. I did not use in the drip on the glow one that's similar to this. I did not use the UV. I used the least amount of UV protection just because it takes the UV to make it really pop with the glow. But on this, everything had the UV protection, the extra UV protection in it. So I am clear coating the first layer of clear coat over it. Sometimes it only takes one, but usually when I put glitter on it in close together instead of just sprinkle it, there might be a few pieces that kind of bulge out a little bit that I didn't catch, and I catch it as I'm kind of going through it and thinning out the clear coat. And usually when that happens, that means I'm going to end up having to sand it after it cures, and which is fine. Then I use another thin clear coat over it, and it's usually just done by then. And I'm just thinning it out with my fingers, and on the next one you will see right here where I go over the clear coat. You saw that it was just kind of sanded, so it looked a little dusty, but no, it was clear, it was just dry. happens. Once you go over it with the clear coat, it brightens the color back up, as you see in this video. I will be doing the drip next, and when I do that, I use a thickener. Some people use, I think, a cornstarch. I get it from a different company. I will, if anybody is interested, just DM me and I will give you the name. And I just use a small amount, and you mix it in with the resin, and it thickens it so it's not so loose. I don't put as much. I see some people put more, some people put less. I don't put a lot. I like my drips to be a little bit more drippy, so I don't need it to be that real full. But it helps it thicken it up a little bit. And you wait until it, you know, you wait a few minutes depending upon your resin for it to just kind of thicken up. You'll stir it once in a while and just kind of look. And I did that. That's not on the video. As soon as Parrish and I move, I will, and we're moving states. Once we move, we will end up having more room and be able to do more how-tos and lives on those. But I put a little bit of the resin, and as you see, it's like a slower drip. I had a little bit too much on that one, which was fine because I wanted it to go down some. And you can spread it kind of throughout, and you can, you know, wait a few minutes in between. As long as you have a really good resin, you can, you know, layer it before it's fully cured. I kind of did a couple of little layers. I was thinking about going back and doing, after this first layer cured, of doing a little bit more just to thicken it up on the top, but then I really liked how it turned out. I don't want it to be too thick. I wanted it to kind of thin out a little bit. I turned it upside down, by the way, just because the drip was dripping really fast, and I didn't want it all the way down. And sometimes I'll hook it up on the side. And when I do this, I do a nice, really good clean on the inside of the cup. Make sure everything is clean. And that's how I do the drip tumbler on this one. Hope you like it. Check us out more. Follow us, S&P Crafts for me. Thanks.